Okay. Can you ask Mark to join? All right, Mark, it's just us right now, so I just want to get your audio, make sure you're working. Perfect. And Mark, can you just give me unmute your microphone, just to do a quick check?
Microphone check, microphone check.
Sounds beautiful. All right, I'm going to de-escalate Trish and Michael.
Hey, Trish.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Good. I am good.
Thanks for all your help.
Oh yeah, sure. This is exciting. This is fun stuff.
Are you ready for your big singing and dancing part?
Yeah, I have my props ready to go.
Okay, good. That's too funny.
All right, so you guys are going to start your videos live once Mike kicks us off, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
So we'll probably start at what, 12:02, 12:03?
Okay.
Excuse me.
So Mike, as participants start joining, what I've done is just like unmute my mic and say, we'll be starting in a few minutes or something like
Great.
that. So is it currently open right now for people to join? Yep.
Yep. People are joining right now. Yep.
Okay, great.
Hey, Mike, are you getting any audio distortion on Mark's end?
Nope. He sounds great.
Okay, perfect.
Mike, did you close out our video?
Yeah. The last call?
No, I lost my video screen.
It might be just behind the content.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Mark and Mike, I'm going to keep you guys on a text message string here. If I hear anything or there's any sort of lag for a duration of more than a couple seconds, just to let you guys know.
Great.
Frozen video, anything like that.
Yep. Hey, Mike, is there a reminder that goes out that the webinar is going to start?
Yeah, that should have been when it went out 15 minutes prior. So.
Okay. I didn't get anything. I don't know if you can force one to say like.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Mike, I don't know if you heard me mention to Mark. I'm just going to keep you guys on a text.
We're going to wait another 5 minutes to let people still trickle in from their lunch hour, their morning coffee or meeting. So just bear with us and we'll get started in about 5 minutes.
We need some of that good background music, hold music, Mark, next time, huh?
Mike, you should be playing your piano, getting people warmed up here.
That's right. A lounge music.
I could test out my singing, but it's still a little early for that.
Get some scales in.
Just going to give a couple more minutes, folks, and we will be getting started. Thank you for everybody who has joined on time. Starting to realize that my excuse for being late for meetings is harder when you're in a virtual setting, but I still find myself being late for meetings even when they're virtual. Hate to admit that. I'm going to undo my video and just kind of get a
All right. Give it a couple more minutes here.
fantastic. Mike, are we able to see everybody?
No, they're just in a webinar setting right now, so they're going to be on audio.
Okay, great.
Through chat, we can always promote anyone for sure, though.
Fantastic. Is there a view where we can see the whole room?
There isn't right now. We can just see the participants.
Okay, I see that my Aunt Mary is on the call, so I just want to give a shout out to my Aunt Mary. I mean, you never know who's going to join these webinars, and that's the beauty of being connected through Zoom, is you can have your friends and family beyond your business colleagues and clients and whatnot. So
it's great. I think they love seeing your smiling face.
And I have another cousin. This is like a mini family reunion. Mary Alice, thanks for joining. Super excited. We got some folks.
Behind us there, Mark. Little music there or what?
What's that?
Little music on the piano behind you?
You want me to tickle the old ivory? Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Beautiful.
Little Let It Be by the infamous.
The 4 magic chords.
That's right. That's right. Sounds wonderful. Yes. That's the old piano that I'll tell a little backstory before we get started, but I'll use this wonderful prop. But here's a picture of my parents and my brother and myself, and the piano that you see behind it was a buy one, get one free in the year 1981. So my mom got a piano by her father, and my Aunt Mary, who's on the call, got the same piano too. that piano is now the piano that's behind me, and what my children are learning on. So it continues just to blossom music.
Excellent.
Yes. I'll share one last picture and then we can get started. But this is a picture of me at 2 years old, sitting on my piano with, my Indian tan from the summers and my dark Irish blood that I have. So that's great.
I love it. I love it. I'll have to recreate that. There's a lot of recreating pictures going on someday. So
Yes, that's right. That's right. Well, hey, it looks like we've got a good group of people here. So I want to reward the folks that have been patiently waiting. We've got just about 45 people on the call, and Mike, I think it's just a good time for us to get started.
That's great. That's awesome. Let's do it.
Yeah. So welcome to the Connect with Courage webinar. I'm Mark Ostach, and I have my counterpart over here. Mike, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, and thank you. This is Mike Walsh, CEO of DGI, coming to you guys from Boston, and it's great to see so many people here today. So thank you for spending time with us.
Yes, and I'm here from Detroit, Michigan. My name is Mark Ostach, and I do a lot of work around digital wellness, how our devices impact our mind, body, and spirit. And today we have an opportunity to kind of unpack what that means. I will be, kind of quarterbacking the message. Think of Mike as the master Zoom expert. He is a Zoom solutions provider. He's a technical guru. He's got a ton of credentials and fun stuff behind his name and his business. But Mike is that coach that's going to be using kind of the behind the scene tools of Zoom to show us what a successful webinar looks like, and continue to keep me online and add some color commentary along the way. So just wanted to share kind of how Mike and I are going to work together during this webinar. So to that end, 2 months ago, I didn't even know Mike. And we had a mutual friend that brought us together that said, hey, listen, I've got this guy, Mike Walsh from DGI Communications, who is in the business of connecting people through hardware and software and all of the latest and greatest technologies. And this mutual friend, who also has happened to be named Michael, said to us, like, hey, I've got this friend Mark in Detroit who is all about human connection, and how the human connection and the physical and digital connections are starting to merge together to take shape. And we thought, what better of a time now to come together, especially with all of us leading, living, and working from home, to start to unpack what it means to have courage to connect. So just a little bit more, in the space of human connection meets digital connection. This message is not anti-internet. This message is not to bash anything to do with technology. It's to say, how do we start to find courage to connect in spaces and places that we weren't used to, particularly in this time of quarantine and Zoom life and all of the things that we're up against. So I'm going to be representing Team Courage. And Mike, you want to share a little bit about Team Connect?
Yeah, I love it. Team Connect here. So again, Mike Walsh from DGI. We're the experts on the technology. We live in the world of hardware and software, and I've really been obsessed with that for quite a while. I think, the unique thing, as you mentioned, we had a mutual friend, and I'd talk to him a lot, and we'd be talking about technology, specifically Zoom, and how that has come to be such a verb in today's society. And he would share a lot of things about Mark and about the human connection. And, we're all talking about working from home, and it's going on, and it's difficult, right? There's some things going on, but when the reality is that we're living from home, right? It's not just work. We're doing teaching, we have kids, it's a lot. So we're finding ourselves, and while I love technology, and obviously we're big fans of Zoom, it's, by far and away probably the best tool out there to connect. I was kind of impressed with just kind of being mindful of, how much time we're doing this. And through meeting you, Mark, I've appreciated, how much better you can be in front of people in technology when you are mindful of kind of your connection and your time. So appreciate that, and really looking forward to that. Just speaking of the technology thing, we do have a chat box here. So I'm just going to quickly say hello to everyone here, and just make sure you guys all know we're happy to have questions. We're gonna have some fun today, and but please keep it interactive. If there's something we don't get to, we will certainly get to it afterwards. So
Awesome.
Again, it's been great to meet you, Mark. So.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. Yeah, and feel free to introduce yourself. I already see some people are starting to do that. There's some amazing ways to create connection over Zoom. We're going to cover those today, and hopefully we, at the end of this, our time together, you've experienced greater connection in what's traditionally been just known as a webinar. So I feel like it's important, Mike, and I appreciate you sharing kind of from Team Connect standpoint. I think it's important to set a little bit of definition around, we've talked about connection, we've talked about courage. The thing about courage is that really closely on the other side of courage is fear. And we know that there's a ton of fear going on right now in our homes, in our communities, and in our world. So it's important that we start to acknowledge that, like, gosh, there's a level of uncomfortability that we have learning, leading, and living from home. I have two beautiful children, Joby and Mila. These are their future Instagram headshots. This is not what they've looked like in the past 6 weeks. My son's hair is getting pulled out like mine, and my daughter's glasses are being thrown across the room just about every other tutorial with her preschool training. So there's a lot of fear going on in my household right now, but we're learning ways to adapt, and I trust that many of you are doing the same thing. The important thing about fear is that think of fear as like the father of lies. And with the father of lies has birthed two paternal twins. They are what if and if only, okay? So what if gets you in the place of, what if the quarantine never ends? What if the remote workforce is my permanent state? What if my child doesn't go back to school? All of these things can cripple you, especially when you're bouncing in and out of Zoom calls and trying to figure out how to manage life from home. And then you have this closely resembled sister, if only. Oh my gosh, if only we would have had, a better way to approach the global health crisis. If only my home setup would have been better and equipped with, sound acoustics from DJI and, better ways that we could, create this home office experience. So what if and if only are two ways that are really starting to cave in on courage in this season of living from home. So hopefully that we give you some tools today that allow you to start to realize that there's so much opportunity for courage. The way that we see courage, and Mike, I'll just kind of go out on a limb here, is that courage is pushing against that fear and living in that space where that it's uncomfortable and it's going to be. And right now we're in this total global state of fear in a lot of ways, but we can also be in a total global state of courage. So the idea is that our connections at home, online, and offline are being infused with aspects of courage. So that's our hope for you today. We also want to make sure that we're finding ways that you guys can create healthy boundaries with your devices at home. So that way, when you're on back-to-back Zoom calls, whether you're preschool or whether it's board meetings, whatever the case is, we want you to be encouraged to create some digital habits in your life that give you the space to pause and breathe and be. And then most importantly, today, we want to offer you a chance to be in community and have a little fun. So I'm going to pass it back to Mike, and he's going to demonstrate a way that we can have some fun with the simple game of true and false.
Sure. Appreciate that, Mark. So again, we got a little chat box here. If you guys see on the bottom of your screen with the video, this chat, we'll just do a quick little true and false, have a little fun here to kick things off. And we'll go from there. So first up, we've been talking a lot about Zoom, the new verb in the dictionary. We'd like you guys all to quickly participate real quick. Zoom marriages are now legal in New York. Is that true or is that false? Can you get married in New York on Zoom?
Okay, we get some trues and falses coming in. Good mix.
Good mix, good mix.
All right, what do we got?
Well, it's true. So here's a LinkedIn post from Eric Yuan, CEO of Zoom. This is kind of a big deal. People were planning on getting married, and Zoom certainly came through. So it is completely legal to get married using Zoom. So pretty cool. Mark, why don't you take the next one here?
Pretty cool. All right, I'm hoping that we don't have legal births from Zoom. God forbid that happens. Okay, here we go. Next one. Flannel pajamas are banned by Fortune 500 companies. That's right. Flannel pajamas are banned in their work from home policy from Fortune 500 companies. What do we have? True or false?
Let's see here.
Another mix.
Another good mix here.
All right, let's see. Answers in, final answers in, and we've got false. Yes, this is false. I will say for those of you, maybe we can just get some vulnerable participants to step into courage. How many of you are wearing pajamas, Lululemon pants, sweatpants, short shorts? Mike, what do you say?
Yeah, it's always, it's business up top and party on the bottom, right?
Party on the bottom. All right, guilty. We've got a few guilty. We've got a few sweats. I have I've got my Crocs on with
There you go.
socks. I think that's illegal in half of the states in the country, but I'm rocking it and feeling good. Guilty.
Excellent.
All right, fit the profile. Workout pants. Wonderful. Yeah. So just think about real quick. Pants are like flannel pajamas are like melatonin clothes. So if you're looking to like really. If you're having one of those tough days, you're waking up in fear, put on your pants and make your bed. I sound like my Aunt Mary right now. Put on your pants and make your bed. But those are ways to kind of set up success for your day.
Right.
All right, back to you,
Well,
Mike.
I'll take the next one here. So just true or false, back on the Zoom here, you can enhance the look of your face using Zoom settings. So a lot of people, I don't know, a lot of people, especially before this, no one wanted to turn on their cameras, right? Everyone was hiding. So true or false, can you enhance the look of your face? Do you think they can? I don't know. Let's see.
Looks like a lot of truths are coming in.
A lot of truth. A couple falses. It is true. So on the Zoom settings, you can certainly touch up your appearance, or as we call the beautification filter. Just a soft little touch. Certainly helps people feel a little more welcome on screen. And what do you think they're going to come out with next? Maybe some hair growth filter?
Can you grow my hair back? Can you give a call to Eric? Let him know that we've got a desperate need for the Zoom Enhance feature.
We'll let him know. But this is Esther. She's great. And any of those ideas are always open to more ideas. So we'll get that to the top of the request, Mark.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that, Mike. Hey, here's the next one. Kentucky Fried Chicken, the finger licking good chicken. They've created a lunchbox that allows you to charge your phone while eating lunch.
Ooh. All right, true or false? What do you think?
Come on, no way. False, true, true. Hopefully false. I know, Michael, hopefully false. No way, probably true. Yes, you guys. I'm sorry to tell you that this is called Wadabox. It was debuted in India. It is finger licking good while you're charging your phone. And it is, for those IP attorneys out there, this is powered by chicken grease.
Yeah.
What doesn't fuel chicken grease? Is it reusable? I have no clue, but it's not making its way to the United States. That's the most important thing. Hey, we've got one final true and false. Yeah. You want to close it for us?
Let's do it. So back to Zoom. Zoom is a new trend where you can rent a farm animal to join your Zoom call. What do you think? True or false?
Jessica, moo, says Jessica from afar.
All right. So we'll wrap this up. What do you think?
What do we got? This is true.
It's true. It's true. We actually were going to have this donkey join us, but even the donkeys are booked back to back. So everyone's feeling this pressure. That's
right. Awesome. Hey, just a round of applause for everybody. Thank you for partaking in a quick game of true and false. We're gonna come back to this message on courage to connect. So I think we all understand that there's a need to create courage in our connections, whether it's our connections with our spouses or our significant others or our family members, or if we're living alone, it's connection with our neighbors or our mailman or whatever the case is. There's this need for human connection, and right now Zoom is one of the primary tools for that. So I think one of the spaces is that digital wellness lives in the center of connection and courage. So I want to take the next 10 to 15 minutes or so and start to define and give you guys a little bit more foundation for what digital wellness means and how we can start to find ways to improve our digital wellness, both on the work front and on the home front. So that said, this is a wonderful picture. When you think about the 1950s and the family of two with the white picket fence gathered around the radio, listening to whatever NPR radio station, the one of three options that you had for your listening pleasure. We have now moved into this time where you've got Siri and Alexa at your beck and call, streaming on-demand music. My daughter even knows to go up and say, Alexa, play Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes, and she loves it, right? She does the whole game. My wife and I have been known to throw our knives and forks at Alexa when she doesn't shut off, when the dogs are barking and the kids are screaming. But you can see that this dichotomy of the family life or the team and communal life that happens in work and the smart home are coming together. And I got to tell you guys that this was a future projection that did not turn out the way that a lot of the leaders and a lot of the economists and scientists thought the way digital life was going to happen. So I want to take us back to 1965. On the cover of Time magazine, they showed this picture that computers by the era of 1990s, in the 1990s, computers would become so efficient and we'd have so much free time that our workforce would be bored, right? That would be down to 20 hours a week of actual work because computers would handle the rest. And you guys, how off were those predictions, right? It's been the exact opposite. Mike, speak a little bit about kind of just how far we've come in technology and how you guys are using it at DGI.
Yeah, I mean, as opposed to them making our lives easier, they are wonderful things, and they've made a lot of tools capable now, things we never even imagined, right? So here's just an example. Here at DGI, we do a lot of we do a lot of VR even before this happened. But wow, what a way to kind of build spaces and make some decisions when we can't go anywhere, right? So we still try to carry on. We still have a lot of work. We're still designing spaces and making critical decisions with technology. And here we go, we find ourselves in VR even more, right? It's such an excellent tool, but I can say, you're in there for 2 hours, and all of a sudden you can't believe it. It felt like 15 minutes. So again, it's eating up that time. It's kind of bringing you to this different world. Very useful, but it can get away from you pretty quick as well.
Sure, yeah, and you think about the phone right now. It's kind of a cumbersome tool, right? It's in your pocket, it's in your purse. You got to grab it out while you're driving. Some of us have smart watches to kind of help not pull all the lint and gum wrappers out of our pocket. We can just kind of look like this, but not too far in the future, you're going to start to see these wearables that give us full phone functionality that become more integrated and seamless into our experience. So, as we see these technologies, we know that digital wellness is going to be a thing, just like financial wellness and emotional wellness and physical wellness are things. Our digital wellness is going to become more and more important, especially as these wearables come out into the future and our phones become more smart. Mike, do you have any of these things in your home?
I do. It's funny. You had the picture back in the 50s or 60s, and look, we always used to talk radio, and now I think it's called listen radio. So I certainly do. We have Amazon Alexa and the Sonos versions with Ring cameras. Certainly guilty of those devices for sure.
Let's see here in the chat box, who has cursed or yelled at their Alexa or their Google, smart radio in the chat. Let's see. Okay, 100% of the time. I think Alexa only can hear me when I yell. So I don't know if that's that. We need to go to relationship. Some of you don't have them. Wonderful.
Yeah, I got actually a kind of quick idea. How about a quick poll just to kind of ask everyone, what they do at home? What's their life like? We'll give them a quick poll right now. Sound good?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. So up here coming up, again, another great tool in Zoom. This is a quick little check-in. So just real quick, as many as you want to pick here, how many of you use your phone as an alarm clock? Check your phone right before you go to bed. Check your phone as soon as you wake up, or check your phone when going to the bathroom. You can do multiple choices here. There's no judging. So we'll give you guys a couple more seconds here. Let's get a couple more votes in. Look at this, huh? Give you guys another 5 seconds. And all right, we're going to stop it right here. And I will share these results. There you go.
Yeah.
As soon as you wake up. Wow. Interesting.
This is a good pulse too. And you think about it, check your phone when going to the bathroom. Like, it's crazy. Like, how many of you have dropped your phone in the toilet, right? For those of you standing, right? But you see the need for digital wellness right here, Mike, and I really appreciate you sharing that poll so we can get a pulse on, the 55 plus people that are in attendance today. You can already see that the need is there, the pain is there. Where is the pathway? And again, in your connection to courage, leading, living, and learning from home, you need to have a pathway out, because if not, we're just going to spin our wheels, spin our mind, and keep spinning that email dial to see which emails come in next.
Great.
So thanks for sharing that.
86%, Mark.
Wow.
86% are checking their phone probably before and I'm guilty too, before you brush your teeth there.
That's right. Hey, I'm going to show, I've got these little gratitude notebooks. I'm going to be giving away 10 of them at the end of this webinar, but these are a great way for those of you that said check your phone as soon as you wake up. They're about the size of a phone, and you step into gratitude before you start your day. Ton of fun, really simple. So that's just kind of a little foreshadowing to a giveaway at the end. But we're gonna keep it moving along. All right, so all this is to say that we've got a pulse on you guys and your kind of digital habits. We've set the stage on where we were back in the 1950s and 60s, and just how far off futurists had it for where we are going to be today. And now on TED, you can even see that there's the pros and cons of our digital life. I've been fortunate enough to give 2 TED Talks on this topic, and have realized that digital wellness and this kind of merge of our reality is going to continue to merge. And I think it's about finding courage, both online and offline, to create truer connections. So being vulnerable, being open, using technology in a way that's more interactive. Those are all great ways to be in moments and kind of, essences of courage when we're connecting. So to that end, again, we talked about financial health, mental health, emotional health. I want us to put on our kind of emotional eating, physical health cap for a minute. So the old saying, if you are what you eat, my question back to you guys is, then what's in your fridge? Okay. So there's this idea that our digital calories or our problems that we want to kind of, escape away from are just on our phone. And the reality of it is that our physical caloric intake, which the way that we eat our food makes the way that we feel or think or operate, is the same thing for our digital calories. So I ask you from now on to start to think about the digital calories you consume and wonder, when you're scrolling through the phone in the morning before you've gotten out of bed or in the bathroom, what are the digital calories that you're consuming? And are they, quite frankly, do they look like this? Are they empty calories, junk food, headlines that make you feel sick to your stomach? Are they emails that you haven't gotten back to, but you flagged and now it's 11:30 at night and you can't sleep? So we need to start to think about our digital calories as the same way we view our physical calories. Mike, I see your mouth watering over there. Are you okay? You doing okay?
I'm good. I'm looking at these, but yeah.
That's right. So, hey, listen, scrolling, you're just scrolling through your phone. You're in these moments in between meetings, bathroom breaks. Sometimes I have to admit I've hid from my family in the bathroom to do this on my phone just to get a moment of solace. But when I come out, I'm renewed. But the idea is, and especially now with COVID and the pandemic that we're experiencing, the New York Times had recently covered this idea of doom scrolling. Okay, so it's when you grab your phone and you just start scrolling and you're reading the headlines of the COVID deaths or the extended quarantine in your state that you're living in, and all these other headlines that are controversial in nature and just kind of heavy at their heart. It's called doom scrolling. And it's called that because you feel that way when you're done doing it. So if we can start to adopt some habits that we're going to start to shift into here in a moment to give you guys some tools to equip you to not get in the bad habit of doom scrolling and be more conscious of your digital calories, that's our hope. So we have this beautiful, the colorful fruits of the rainbow and the world. These are the healthy digital calories that we want you guys to start consuming. And one way that we can do this is we can disconnect with courage. So what I want to do here is just take a moment. We're going to take a breath. We're about halfway through the webinar. Everyone take a breath with me. I want to teach you guys just a fun little technique. I want everybody to put their hands out. I know you can't see me, but again, we're at the halfway mark. Physical movement is so key when we are on these Zoom calls, especially back to back. So this is a technique called positive priming. Okay, so just take your hands and you just start clapping. You can smack your head a little bit. You just start waking up your body, waking up the movement. And the reason why it's called positive priming is because you start to say, I am life, I am awake, I don't need that second cup of coffee or third or fourth. I am full of joy and I am thankful for the today and I am ready to step into my next part of the training. So positive priming, there you go. All right, Mike, on the screen, we have 5 ways for our audience to begin embracing digital wellness at the individual level. So what we want to do now is Mike's going to serve up a poll. And in the poll, you're going to see these 5 same statements posed. And what we want to hear from you guys is pick one of the things that you feel is most gravitating towards you. Is it no digital gadgets at mealtime? Do you feel like you just need to get a real alarm clock because you're sick of looking at your phone as soon as you shut off your alarm clock? Take a digital fast a day, make eye contact when talking, or end your digital day 1 hour before bed. So we'll give you guys about a minute to fill out the survey, and then we're gonna have some conversation with the audience.
So again, you're just going to pick one here. Just what's one thing you think you could do? We are about halfway through the votes. We got another. Getting there.
And I know some of you feel like you could probably pick all of them, and some of you probably don't have any to pick, which is okay too.
Right.
Our digital wellness champions.
Another 10 seconds here, Mark.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
And 2, 1. All right, end poll. And let's share these results up.
All right.
So
yeah.
That's it right there.
It's interesting. We've got, a good portion, 36% say no digital gadgets at mealtime. I feel like, you've got your knife, your spoon, your fork, and your phone. Unless you can figure out how to scoop your soup with your phone through one of the waterproof phones, it's probably not doing you good at home. And we've got a good mix across the board. So, hey, Mike, you were going to show off the promoting a panelist feature.
Sure.
You want to explain how that works?
Sure, yeah. What would be good here? So maybe someone can chime in here. If you guys want to just nominate yourselves, I can promote a panelist. So basically, what this is in Zoom is taking basically a webinar feature like we have. We have a couple of active presenters, and then at any time, someone from the panel or from the attendees can be promoted in. And we'd love to get someone just to volunteer and maybe share with something that they think they can improve their digital wellness here. So.
I think just the caveat, so what you picked, and most importantly, why you picked it. So we're looking for 2, 3, 4 people to you can raise their hand or chime in, or Aunt Mary, I'm going to call on you if nobody picks. Okay.
All right, Carl, we got Carl. Carl's up. All right, we're going to promote Carl. Let me find him here. Thank you guys again for all coming in here. This is fantastic. So we're going to promote him in. And Carl's in here. Carl, if you want to. Carl, Carl looks a little different today. Carl,
come
Mark,
on, that's a funny Caddyshack reference. Nobody got it? My Carl Spagler? No, nothing?
Yeah.
So which one here you picked?
I chose the device not at mealtime as well, the 36%.
Yeah.
Why'd you pick that?
I just feel like that's the time for the family connect. I have a good amount of children, or I have a few kids, and my wife, and it's just a great time for us to really stop looking at our phones and social media or my emails or my Zoom chat, and let's focus on each other, and we do best part, worst part of the day. We always do that at dinner time, and so it's a good time for us to all communicate with one another. So it's always fun to see what the kids say too. So
that's awesome. Carl, you said you have a few kids. In my mind, I'm picturing 11 kids sitting around a table. Can you quantify the amount of kids you have?
Close.
It's close, but I have 4.
Okay, you have 4. Hey, just a quick game, just a quick kind of tidbit. It's not on the screen, so you're gonna have to follow along, but a great game to play around the dinner table when your phones are put away is a game called Rose, Bud, Thorn. Okay, so your rose is what you're grateful for. Your bud is what's blooming on the horizon, what you're looking forward to, and your thorn is that thing in your side. It's a great game to play with the family, or even with your roommate or whoever you're at home with, because it gives everybody a chance to speak. My 3-year-old daughter says her rose is her birthday, her bud is her birthday coming up next, and her thorn is she doesn't have any because she's only 3. Because what could she be upset about? So rose, bud, thorn. Write that down.
I like it, Mark.
Thanks for sharing, Carl. Mike, we got a couple other people.
Let's see here. I see Jess is out there. Jess, you want to share with one that you got going on?
Hey guys. I would love to.
All right, awesome.
I picked no gadgets at mealtime as well.
Okay.
And again, you know, we tend to at our house, there's a lot of face in phone action going on, and it gives us that time to kind of catch up on each other's days. So it's an important time of the day for us, for sure.
Jess, what's the second thing you would have picked?
Second thing, I probably would have picked to fast at least 1 hour a day. I think sometimes my eyes are, you know, coming out of my head because I'm either on a computer, a phone, a gadget of some sort all the time. So,
Yeah.
definitely.
For those of you that pick take a digital fast 1 hour a day, we are creatures of habit. So if you can pick the same hour a day that you take that fast, your body and your mind will adapt to that behavior change more quickly. For me, in the pre-quarantine life was right when I got home from work, where I'd throw my phone in the bedroom, and from that like 6 to 7 o'clock, it was really 6 to 8 o'clock, I'd be all in on dinner, all in on bed and bath time. And right now, working from home, living from home, not a ton of digital fasting going on when I come home from work because I'm always at work. But truth be told, we do have a lot more margin to take walks and be out in nature. So that's great.
Excellent.
Mike, did we have another one or two to share?
Let's see, anyone else out there want to chime in?
Aunt Mary or Mary Alice or Rachel, some of my friends on the call, I'd love one of you to, to chime in here. If you're driving in the car, if you're, watching Netflix, that's okay too. Okay,
All right, Mary's in.
here we go.
All right, Mary, give me 1 second here. Let's find Mary.
You notice the "I will." There wasn't an exclamation mark there, so it seemed like a little bit of a reluctant "I will," but I know she's a pro user.
Mary's in, and she can unmute herself and go ahead and talk.
Hi, thank you very much, Mike, and hello, Mark. I chose the digital fast because we already do not use our gadgets during mealtime. We have a real alarm clock because we're old and we didn't get into this other idea of using your phone. And the second one I would have chosen is this 1 hour before bed, as sometimes, I read for a while, but then I grab my phone and look at Facebook or check to see if there are any texts. So just getting away from it for an hour a day sounds like a great idea, whether it's the computer or the phone or any other device.
Excellent.
Thanks for sharing, Mary. And
You're welcome. My pleasure. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. For those of you that said end your digital day 1 hour before bed, I want you to think of the experience flying, right? When you're in an airplane and you're flying, the plane just doesn't say, okay, time to land, and then completely just drop from 50,000 feet in the air. It starts to descend into the runway, down to the runway. And the same principles apply when you are getting ready for bed and winding down for bed. We want to start to ease down into our bed. We want to start to kind of calm our mind. It's really hard to do. I think TV is that like gray area where sometimes we use it as like that place to escape and unwind. But then when you're getting into bed, you just want to make sure you're screen free. And I know it's hard. And a lot of this stuff requires kind of the mindset of just taking incremental baby steps. But that was our hope for you guys that we could do that. We have one more. We've got Mary Alice.
One more. We got the infamous Michael Coy. Michael Coy is actually a great team member here at DJI as a project manager. And Michael, Mr. Coy, we call him the real McCoy.
Hey, Mike. Hi, Mark. I actually was going to pick the end your day, digital day 1 hour before bed as well. Just seems like one of those things. I check my phone right before I go to sleep, and I am just, my mind's racing all night, especially with what's going on now, just doom and gloom. And yeah, not a great thing to be doing before bed.
No, it's those little baby steps, Mike. And I think, I appreciate you sharing that. And my mentor, he's 90, he's almost 90. He's a great man, but he always talks to me about replacement therapy. And replacement therapy means that you need to replace one habit with the next. Because if you don't have something to do prior to going to bed, and you're used to checking your phone, you need to replace it with something else. Ideally, you're replacing it with something that's productive or mindful, or starts to feed your mind, body, and soul with things that are going to calm you and ease you. For me, I'll read before I go to bed a few pages, and it gets me calm right away. So to think about the idea of replacement therapy, you need to replace one thing with another thing.
Excellent.
Hey, it looks like we had one more. Mary Alice, do you still want to chime in, and then we'll keep moving?
All right, Mary, you're getting promoted right now. Welcome. All right. Hi,
All
Mary.
right. So again, I'm just chiming in. Mary and Mike already talked about the digital bed, and that's what I had indicated on the poll. But the more I've been listening, you know, I am very guilty of using my phone as my alarm clock and snooze. And, you know, the whole idea of actually going out and getting a real alarm clock, wow, what a novel idea. And so I want to thank you for this session in terms of just heightening our own self-awareness about our patterns of behavior. So, you know, I'm going on Amazon tomorrow and getting myself an alarm clock delivered.
That's right. Well, hey, there's a great solution called Bagby. You get a free alarm clock, and you get it's called bagby.com. You get a free alarm clock, and you get a bag for your phone, like a little sleeping bag, so you can put it outside of your bedroom. So bagby.com is a great resource.
Thank you.
So, hey, thanks for everybody for participating in this part of the webinar. We've got a little bit more content to share before we open it up to some questions and answers. But hey, the last thing, if anybody make eye contact when talking, just know that your eyes are just a wonderful signal on the way that your body expresses its communications, its feelings, its emotions. And, you know, a lot of the times we think about, you know, you've heard the saying, your eyes are the gateway to your soul, right? But have you heard the saying, when your head's down looking at your phone, that your forehead is the gateway to your forehead, right? It's a gateway just to your forehead. It doesn't tell you much at all, other than it's a big shiny forehead. So your eyes are these wonderful tools that you've been made with. Use them for giving and receiving, you know, body language and eye contact. So thank you for that. So those are 5 ways to improve your digital wellness. We're going to keep moving. So again, you know, you guys have been so great so far, and we're giving this landscape of how we can have connection with courage, and we don't need to worry about you know, technology being too invasive, because it's only going to continue to get more as part of our culture and our kind of lifestyle from home. But let's talk for a little bit about, you know, as we wrap up our time together, is Mike, I feel like you had some points that you wanted to share on, like on connecting with Zoom.
Yeah, I just think, you know, there's a couple of tips would be great as we use Zoom. And again, that's kind of what we're all about, you know, connecting, using the tools. You want to be your best self there, right? There's also a thing called Zoom fatigue, which we'll talk about here. But the back-to-back meetings is very difficult. It's very difficult to jump off a call at 9:59 and get back and be your best self at 10. So just some quick tips. When we do some meetings, you know, there are humans on the other side of things. So, you know, as we did today, starting with something fun, we did a little true and false. That really kind of lightens up things. It kind of breaks the ice a bit. Obviously, there's a lot of folks in here which I haven't met yet, and I'm excited you guys are here. But just keeping it fun, I think, is key. This is one of my favorites, Mark, is just do not apologize. You know, my wife is a teacher, and, you know, they're teaching on Zoom all the time. And when they're spending so much time trying to hone in their craft differently now. And you hear a lot of teachers saying, oh, sorry. And, you know, really just, you don't need to apologize for anything. We're all learning this together, whether it's how to use a tool or how to balance these things, and with your kids running around in the background and what have you. So, you know, I think it's important not to apologize. We're all going to keep learning, and we're going to make it through it. Looking directly at the camera. This is one that comes up a lot because we have a camera and the cameras haven't been, you know, injected into the center of your monitor yet. So it's important to make that eye contact. Obviously, you want to be confident with your content, so you want to make sure you're looking at it. But just having some eye contact really, again, says a lot more than looking somewhere else, especially if I'm talking to my monitor over here and the camera's over here, really sets a disengagement there. So something to be mindful there. I think just encouraging mental breaks, like we talked about, you you got to plan your day. It's tough to do it back to back to back. It's certainly exhausting. It's exhausting having being on all the time and presenting, especially on camera. It's something we're not used to. And then just physical activity. Me today, right now, I'm standing, but just taking breaks and staying active. You know, doing some of the positive slaps on your face. Positive priming.
Good.
It's good. It all helps out. So just things that are good notes on Zoom, with Zoom or any type of conferencing. And again, you know, knowing that, you know, we're a team that we can help people from, you know, your home studio all the way to mass audiences use the tool. We're really happy to promote it. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think, you know, just that there's this idea of like when you're, it's called reflecting or looping. And the way that our brains learn is that our environments loop back what our brain should be seeing and feeling and hearing. And, you know, for the last like 6 weeks, I've been in my home basement on about 5 Zoom calls a day. And my home basement is cold. It's kind of stale. And it was built in the 50s. And it doesn't have a lot of reinforcement back to my environment that makes me feel alive. So sometimes I'll have to step outside, go for a walk, take a lap around the house, or even just come and you know, open the door and look at a little bit of sunshine and fresh air. So looping and physical breaks go hand in hand when you're creating kind of those ways that you can better connect. Because Mike, you know how it is. We've been doing some dry runs. Sure. And we'll go back to back. You've seen Cranky Mark yesterday. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get off the Zoom. I've got Zoom fatigue. It's really setting in.
Yeah.
So
sure. You got the donkey in there. Would have broke it up a bit, you know.
That's right. That's right. So Mike, thank you for those 5 ways to better connect on Zoom. You guys, we're reaching the end of our time together. We've got about 15 minutes left, but we don't need to use the full 15 minutes. What's more important is that we take a breath and we're mindful of this idea, hopefully this concept. We know that it takes a lot of courage to fight through the fear that we're all feeling, right? The what if and the if only. I want you to write those down. I want you to think about what are the what ifs. Gosh, what if this would have happened? Or what if this does happen with my business or my team? Or if only I would have done this. When you start to find yourself thinking about the what if or the if only, that's from the father of lies. It is not good. You need to go from the father of love, hence the heart on the screen, to say, I need to push out the what if and the if only, and I need to step into courage. And courage to you might be not getting a lot of work done because you need to feel like you need to be connected to things on the home front as you're living from home and working from home and leading from home. But then you have days where you're in the flow and you're feeling creative and you feel you can better connect. All that's to say is that we hope that our time today has given you guys some tools to find better ways to connect with courage and begin to start to embrace digital wellness in your life. Start to think about your digital calories as the same way you think about your physical calories, and know that we can have fun living, learning, and leading from home. We just need to give ourselves some grace to experience the fact that we're all in this new normal together, and that we need to continue to have courage, to stick together, and to be in community. So before we open it up to Q&A, we did want to let you know this was a free webinar, and we found a nonprofit. Shouldn't say found. It's a nonprofit very near and dear to my heart. It's called Life Remodeled. Life Remodeled is doing incredible work in the city of Detroit in neighborhoods that have been abandoned for many, many decades. And they're literally coming in and they're revitalizing neighborhoods one block at a time, schools. It's an incredible cause. So if you feel called to move to make a donation based on the value you've gotten from today's webinar, we'd love for any proceeds to go to Life Remodeled. They're doing wonderful work. No pressure at all, but wanted to leave that on the screen. We can even put a link in the screen, or you can go to liferemodeled.com/donate. Pretty easy to remember. So we really appreciate that. Thanks, Peg. Yes, Life Remodeled is a great place, and they're just doing wonderful work. Okay, so now I wanted to give away 10 of these gratitude notebooks. These are a great way to share and encourage gratitude with your family, friends, and coworkers. Again, it's a 2-week challenge. You have a quote on one side, and you have 5 things you're grateful for and 5 things you want to release that you're worried about, those what ifs or if onlys. So the way that I'm giving those away today is that if you text the word follow to 33777, I'm going to take the 10th person that I get on my notifications, they're going to win the 10 free gratitude notebooks. So again, text the word follow to 33777. I'll have your email address. This also opts you into my monthly newsletter. And then I'll communicate with you offline to make sure that you have a chance to get these delivered to your home wherever in the country that you are at.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add to it, I've you know, Mark's kind enough to give me some, and they're great. I think the key thing that, you know, it is the size of your phone, right? I think very much purpose, right? So you keep that right next to your bed when you wake up, and it's great just to kind of set the day up, right? Don't be worried about too much things. There's plenty of time in the day to worry about things, but to start on a positive note certainly is helpful, and I've really appreciated the suggestion and enjoyed using it. So.
Well, thanks, Mike. And if anybody has any follow-up questions for me directly, you can email me at hello@markostach.com. And Mike, you've been awesome, man. You've been like the best Zoom coach I've had in my entire 4-month Zoom career. I can't thank you enough, man.
You've been a great student. You're using the tool like a pro now. And again, I know how much, you know, for folks that are trying to present, how much, you know, how much fear is just using a tool, and so much of the frustration is just being overwhelmed by this new technology. So, you know, that's what we're about. We're about helping organizations use what we feel are great tools and connecting, trying to keep the technology as transparent as possible so you can connect with folks, you know, very simply. So.
Awesome. Well, hey, listen, this has been wonderful. We want to open it up to some Q&A. If anybody wants to stick around and just kind of, you can share any questions through the chat. If you want, we want you as a panelist. So just, we'll pause here and see if there's any time for Q&A. One question that I get a lot is, you know, all of these things around digital wellness seem easy to write down in principle, but how do you actually practice them? I think it goes back to this idea that you need to start to create awareness of the way that you feel from the calories and the content that you view. So I know for my wife and I, we have kind of like, it's almost like confessions at the end of the night, where she'll say to me, like, today on Facebook I saw, and then she'll insert a really sad or heavy-hearted story. And she's an empath and I'm an empath, which are personality types that like over empathize for people. So what happens is that content in those stories, they weigh on you. And, you know, she'll hear a story about a 5-year-old who fell down the stairs and is now in critical condition. And even though we don't really know those people, she immediately turns those around as that could be our 5-year-old. So again, being mindful of the content that you view is a great way to say, like, how am I, you know, if I viewed something that's heavy, if I've digested a Big Mac worth of news, confession or sharing is a great way to share in the burden of what you've had and diffuse the what ifs and the if only. So that's just something to share. Let's see, what is
So, how important do you think it is to see each participant in a session? That is, having each person with their camera on. So I'll take this one. So I do think it's important. I think it's, you know, one of the things we talk about with Zoom is the purpose of what you're doing. So there's meetings and then there's webinars. So today is a webinar. Today is meant to have, you know, a talk, have panelists that can be escalated or de-escalated during the call, but really have a set message. With webinars, you have a lot more tools at your capability as far as registration. And again, I thank you guys all for registering, but you're able to send emails, you're able to do follow-up emails, thank you emails, which we'll be doing. So it's a great way to have a set message. Where meetings, I think it's very important to have as many people, all your participants, on video. Meetings, you're doing that. You're meeting with people. You're not only just talking to them and looking at them, but a lot of that is nonverbal. And you want to make sure cameras are on and you're paying attention to that. So when you have a meeting, you want to make sure that the cameras are on. And it is very important to realize the nonverbal kind of actions, which we pick up in human interaction, but we just don't really register it as much. So.
Yeah, that's great, Mike. And I'll just add too, like once you bring in a large group into a meeting, if you're one of the sole presenters, shrink your view so you're only seeing your slides or you're only seeing yourself, and move that panel underneath where your webcam is. That way you're looking at hopefully yourself, knowing that everybody can see you. And then when you pause in your content, you can open up the gallery view and see all the screens. So that's just another technique as well. But hey, you know, if there aren't any more questions, I'm just so grateful for this time today. Thanks for letting us step into your homes as you learn, lead, and live in this era of Zoom. Mike and I are here for you to support you emotionally in your connections, and you know, and find the courage to start to embrace this new normal that we're living in. We can't thank you enough, and really, really appreciate your time today.
Thank you guys all. Be very well, please.
All right. Thanks, guys.